The Krthak were apex predators. For 12,000 years, they had hunted across 17 star systems, their culture built entirely around the chase, the kill, and the feast. When their scout ships detected Earth, they saw a planet teeming with soft, slow creatures that walked on two legs and had no natural weapons. Perfect prey. Huntmaster Vexkar studied the human specimens his scouts had captured from a remote research station on Mars. They were weak, their bones fragile, their teeth flat and useless. No claws, no venom, no armored hide. The scientists had screamed and begged when taken, proving they understood fear. Excellent, Vexkar clicked in satisfaction. We shall have a grand hunt. The Galactic Council received the Krthak's declaration with stunned silence. Ambassador David Morrison of Earth stood slowly, his face unreadable. You're declaring a hunting season, on humanity. Your species has been evaluated and found suitable for sport, Vexkar announced proudly. We shall begin with your colony world of New Providence. 14,000 humans. A worthy challenge. Morrison's jaw tightened. I strongly advise you to reconsider. Prey does not give advice to hunters, Vexkar laughed, a sound like breaking glass. What the Krthak didn't know, what they couldn't have known from their limited observations, was that humans weren't prey. Humans were the most successful predators Earth had ever produced. They just didn't look like it. The Krthak hunting party arrived on New Providence with great ceremony. 300 of their finest warriors, equipped with traditional hunting weapons, plasma-edged blades, neural whips, and tracking sensors. They would give the humans a 10-hour head start, as was customary. Then the hunt would begin. Colonel James Patterson commanded the New Providence Defense Force. When he heard the terms, he almost laughed. They're giving us 10 hours. And they're using melee weapons. He looked at his second-in-command, Major Lisa Hernandez. Do they have any idea what humans actually are? Apparently not, sir, Hernandez replied with a grim smile. Should we educate them? Oh, I think we should. The Krthak had rules for their hunts. No orbital bombardment. No automated weapons. Only personal combat, predator versus prey, as nature intended. They expected the humans to scatter, to hide, to run. Instead, the humans organized. Dr. Robert Mitchell, a xenobiologist, spent the first hour analyzing the Krthak physiology from captured sensor data. They're ambush predators, he announced to the colony's emergency council. Fast-twitch muscle fibers, excellent short-range speed, but poor endurance. Their thermal vision is superior to ours, but they're partially colorblind. And look at this, their joints hyperextend for pouncing but lock up under sustained stress. So they're sprinters, not marathon runners, Patterson said, understanding immediately. We can use that. The humans didn't run. They prepared. When the Krthak began their hunt, they found the colony seemingly deserted. Their thermal sensors picked up scattered heat signatures in the forest surrounding the main settlement. Perfect. They split into hunting packs and pursued. That's when the Krthak learned their first lesson: humans are endurance predators. A Krthak warrior named Skelvor chased a human male, later identified as Thomas Weber, a botanist, through the forest. The human was slow, clumsy, and Skelvor was certain of an easy kill. He chased for 10 minutes. Then 20. Then 30. The human kept running. Skelvor's muscles began to burn. His breathing became labored. The human ahead looked tired but kept that same steady pace, occasionally glancing back. Was it, smiling? At 45 minutes, Skelvor's legs gave out. He collapsed, unable to continue. The human stopped, walked back, and stood over him. We used to hunt mammoths by chasing them until they collapsed from exhaustion, Weber said conversationally, though Skelvor couldn't understand the words. Did your scouts not mention that about us? Throughout the forest, the same scene repeated. Humans simply outlasted their pursuers, then circled back. But the real lesson came when the Krthak tried to regroup. The humans had spent 10 hours turning New Providence into a trap. Every street, every building, every tree line had been weaponized. Not with advanced technology, that would violate the Krthak's rules, but with simple, brutal efficiency. Private Sarah Johnson, a combat engineer, had rigged deadfalls using construction equipment. Sergeant Marcus Davis, a former survival instructor, had created pit traps covered with native vegetation. Even the civilians contributed. Dr. Emily Parker, a chemist, synthesized irritants from local plants that the Krthak's sensitive respiratory systems couldn't handle. Humans are tool users, Patterson explained over an open channel, making sure the Krthak could hear. We don't need claws when we have leverage. We don't need venom when we have chemistry. We don't need armor when we have engineering. The Krthak warriors found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The humans worked in coordinated teams, communicating with simple hand signals when the Krthak tried to jam their electronics. They set ambushes within ambushes. They attacked from unexpected angles. And they never stopped moving. By hour 30, half the Krthak hunting party was incapacitated, not killed. The humans were careful about that, but trapped, exhausted, or injured by their own overconfidence. Vexkar himself led a strike team into the colony's main settlement, determined to salvage the hunt's honor. They found Colonel Patterson waiting in the central plaza, alone and unarmed. "Surrender, pray!" Vexkar roared. Patterson tilted his head. "You know what the scariest thing about humans is, Vexkar? We're persistence predators. We don't give up. Ever. We chased prey across continents on our homeworld. We tracked animals for days without rest. And when we couldn't catch something with speed, we outlasted it. When we couldn't outlast it, we outsmarted it. When we couldn't outsmart it, we worked together." He gestured around the plaza. Vexkar's thermal vision suddenly picked up heat signatures. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Every rooftop, every window, every shadowed doorway. The entire colony had surrounded them. "You came here thinking we were prey," Patterson continued. "But humans aren't prey, Vexkar. We're the apex predator of Earth. We didn't get to the top of our food chain because we're strong. We got there because we're relentless. Because we adapt. Because when something tries to hunt us." He smiled, and it was not a kind expression. "We hunt back." The Krthak surrendered within the hour. At the Galactic Council, Vexkar stood before the assembled species, his warriors beaten and humiliated. Ambassador Morrison had insisted on this public accounting. We were wrong," Vexkar admitted, his voice hollow. "Humans are not prey. They are something far more terrifying. They are predators who learned to be prey, studied how prey survives, and then became predators again with that knowledge. They hunt by thinking like prey. They survive by thinking like predators." He looked at Morrison with something resembling respect and fear. "The Krthak withdraw all claims on human worlds. We declare humanity off-limits for all future hunts. Not because they are unworthy prey, but because—" He struggled with the words. "Because they are better hunters than we are. They always were." Morrison nodded. "Let the record show, humanity asks only to be left alone. But if you insist on hunting us, remember, humans have been the apex predator on our world for 200,000 years. We didn't survive by being weak." He leaned forward, his voice cold. "We survived by being the best at it." The message spread through the galaxy: humans might look like prey, but appearances deceive. The Krthak had learned the hard way what Earth's evolutionary history had already proven. When humans are hunted, they don't just fight back. They become the hunters.